Load? Like a damn. They wasn't even giving me a chance. I'm over here hopping around like a fucking bunny rabbit and this bitch is not reloading. Bitch. Bitch! Yo. Y'all really be trying me. I'm pretty good at this game. And I just fucking... Let's do this. I'm not gonna have no metal pipe taking me out. Shoot. This, ooh. What's it called? That sound is like perfect for this game. Okay. Oh, this is saving because something's about to happen. Stay away from that duck. Oh! Oh my god. I need to pay attention to what he's doing because the bitch duck didn't even say nothing. Nothing. He just stood there, let me take it.
Oops, winning.
No, that wasn't the right sound.
Emotional damage.
Punch each other. What the fuck are you talking about? Hi, Judy. Oh my god, I need to... Can I use a hammer on that fucking little kid? Because I will use it. Oh.
Before we get started, does anyone...
This is not something you can do in the first game. Should I go back and get him, or am I supposed to go this way? Ready? Oh shit! Ah! No, I'm stuck in a corner. No, get me out of this. Let's not do that again. Enemy. And so I was like, I just need to let people help. It's okay. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to accept help. I'm so close. Bitch out here edging. I mean, at least somebody's edging on hump day because I'm not. It's fucking raining over here in New York City and I'm not going to somebody's place like a wet cat. Okay? Oh, we're gonna support you if you like it or not. Man to cleanse. We'll learn how to fight too, right? Naturally. You will spend your days training and studying, but most importantly, sewing. Sewing? Oh my god. Oh, did I just die? I guess I can't walk across that beam.
Emotional damage.
No. Oh, no. Has such memories in my brain. Like between the hospital, it's freaky as fuck. The end when you're kind of just running in darkness for a hot minute, like absolute darkness. Oh. Oh my. my god. I just collapsed down like. Oh my god. I talked all that shit and walked right into that fucking mob. Fuck. The end when you're kind of just running in darkness for a hot minute, like absolute darkness. Oh. Oh my god. Oh. Oh my god, not the legs. Oh my lord. Bitch. What were you even trying? You were standing there for mad long, just letting me slice you up, bitch. Like a piece of chicken that you want. Where's my hammer? Don't shake that little butt at me. Don't shake that little plastic BBL at me. Oh my god. Yes, because it plays this like Xena yell anytime somebody comes in so that I actually remember to look at chat. And this game is like terrifying me. I've like had enough of it at this point. I'm like just trying to get to the end of this chapter so I can, oh, be gone. I'm gonna be really fucking annoyed. Why do I feel like I don't want to touch that teddy bear? Can I go here? No. I feel like this is a trap. Like I'm gonna fall to the floor. Doing a little baby stream today. Let's see what this is doing. Okay. Hold on 1 second, cause she looking a little crazy. Oh. That's exactly what I did not want to do. Okay, we can do that. Hello, hope everybody is doing well. It is Wednesday. No, it's Thursday now. So I technically did not get to hump you, but whatever. It's still Wednesday, so we still humping. I hope everybody's doing well. It was a very, very long and unproductive day for me. I don't know why I felt like I could not get up from my computer at work. Yeah, I felt like I got nothing done at work today. So now I gotta like put it in for tomorrow because I definitely needed to get some things done and then I didn't. And then I was supposed to get some work done before I even streamed today. And I didn't do that either. I was feeling a little motivated to work on my raid trailer and then I took a nap and that nap sucked the life out of me. And that's why we're here today, because I know that that nap is going to keep me up for hours right now. So I said, let's just play the damn game. So that's what we're going to do. Let me pull up my other thing. It just got really hot in my house. Really hot. I hate that I can't pull. I mean, I guess. Okay, I can pull it over enough to see that. So if you're watching, if you're lurking, if you do want to play the game, if you watch any streamer, but mostly me, okay, play this game for an hour, you can get a code to play the game. I feel like it's limited. So try to get it done as soon as possible. If you're interested, this is only for 12 days. And we're about to do this. I look so washed out. I can't stand it. That's not better. I don't know if that looks any better. You know, at this point, we're just being cute. Let me get my stuff. Oh shoot, I forgot. I just realized I was playing this for like 2 hours with my friend and he asked me what the blue currency is and I forgot to show him. I definitely know I got a bunch of achievements, so let me get my stuff. Because I was doing the damn thing. Hello? Ugh. I literally, at this point of playing the game, I feel like I could say in any of them. Like, I literally just like playing all of them. Oh, I could have just taken Penny. Yeah. There were some weird things that I did notice with the game. So one thing is that Spider-Man, he has this thing where he like grabs you and he can like swing himself to your location. And as Wanda, and if he does that to you, he can still kind of do that to you from what I saw when you're like in your shift mode, which I don't know about that, girl. I don't like that. And then what was the other thing? There was something else that was really, really important there. Oh my god, I can't remember what it is right now. I don't know. Let's just play the game. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about musica. I might, to be honest, because this is not going to be that long of a stream. Oh, I need to turn this off. I don't want to see that. I might. Why is this not starting? I might still work on my raid trailer. I also don't know if I'm gonna stream tomorrow. I feel like I might. If I do stream tomorrow, it'll be a little bit longer. But I'm trying to see Deadpool and Wolverine tomorrow because
Pick your hero or villain.
these people are already playing themselves.
Wind, cloud,
Like,
and storm.
you're not gonna ruin the movie for me. So I have to go see the movie on Thursday, even though I'm gonna go see it again on Tuesday. With my friend. He's always surprised, like we go in there and he's like, "Did you see it already?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "What?" And I'm like, "I'm not waiting 5 days. Do you know what 5 days is like on the internet? These people are gonna ruin the shit out of this movie. Like even the people that made the movie are already ruining the shit. Like, nope.
Mutant
No.
or human, I fight for everyone.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Oh yeah. Ugh. I love the flying in this game. It's so smooth.
Quill, you got your ship. 'Cause if you do, let's get out.
I wonder if they're gonna have more characters and more maps at launch.
Fine. We'll save the world.
They have so many possibilities. But my friend was like, "Oh, they need more characters." I was like, "There's already."
The battle
They
starts in
literally are
5,
starting out with almost as many characters as Overwatch has
2,
now.
1.
Okay, and Overwatch has been out for years.
Area. Got it?
Yeah. Why am I not moving? Okay. Oh, my controller in my game is acting awful. Oh. Oh, I tried to freaking ascend and some other bitch came and hit me. Oh, the Bifrost Bridge.
Endless battle.
Double KO.
The bullshittery.
Area is yours
See,
to
my
capture now.
sacrifice
The
was what
mission
made us get the
is
point. That's all
yours.
that matters. Okay, honey boo boo.
Area's under
You still lost the point. Ta-da. Get that bitch.
Lend a hand.
No! Oh shit. Ah! Who hit me? Bitch.
Control lost.
I will not make the same mistakes again.
The way I just caught that was a fucking stray, bitch. The way I just caught that stray. You're over here acting like I'm Jocelyn.
They're on your back. I'll patch you up.
Who's on my back? Who's on my back?
Pulse charge.
Why do I feel like somebody's behind me?
Lend a hand. Good hunting.
Oh. No, what is hitting me?
This is
Oh, it's not even our point.
Hey, Petey, enjoy the amplifier.
Your team's capture progress has passed the halfway point. Control C.
You get a weapon. You get a weapon. You get a weapon.
I don't know if that actually does damage. Bitch. Bitch. Not gonna outstorm me, ho. Bitch.
You've captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
Doing my part. I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part. I ain't do shit. Oh.
I lift up my comrade.
Damn.
More dangerous.
Now's the time to hit.
Oh. No. So the Salata. I need to go to this. I need healing. I'm just slaughtering these hoes.
Area's almost yours.
Feel the wrath of the goddess.
Control lost.
They couldn't weather the storm.
Double KO.
Oh.
Faster, my friends.
Who's hitting me? See, I did all that to get that point. The bullshittery.
I will not
I also
make
feel
the
like
same
people are already cheating in this game because I was watching somebody kill me and their crosshair was not even on me. And it was a Punisher. And I was like,
Someone scratch my back.
you're like hitting every...
I will always lend a hand.
Nah, too late, son. Too late, Venom. We are... I'm pretty good at that. I should be a voice actor. I really think I got
Somewhere in
the
world is a
cojones
little
for
girl
that.
like I once was. I fight for her.
Hope everybody had a good day. Listen, we gotta make it through tomorrow and Friday. And then I don't know about y'all, but I got a 3-day
30 seconds
weekend.
before you attack.
Although it doesn't feel like a 3-day weekend because my day off, I need to go to the doctor.
Wait, you
I need to go to the dentist. And then I need to go to Queens.
try out my guns.
I have no
Queens. If you know anything about me,
fury is mine to command.
bitch, I don't go outside the borough. The furthest I go is to
Bit of fury, and I don't really
Brooklyn.
like it. I just
Okay?
Battle
Queens?
starts in 5,
Girl, that's like
4,
fucking international
2,
travel.
1. All you need to do is capture the mission area.
So,
Got it?
but I gotta get it done, otherwise I'm literally never gonna get it done. Oh, I think my thing is acting up. My remote. My remote. Remote.
Enemies on approach.
See, you hear that voice acting?
ready to get your yarn on.
Pulse charge. Fire.
I'll patch you up.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
Oh, somebody's behind us.
Fucking hell.
Bitch. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Damn, I can't get better with this. Who was hitting me? That was that fucking Wanda. Damn, she went all the way behind me to just get me like that.
Clouds gather.
I'm gonna get it, bitch. I'm gonna fucking get you. Oh no, don't let them take the point. What are you doing? Am I the one holding it together for the team?
Ready for action.
I see them.
Control lost.
Get him. Ah, I couldn't get under that fucking arch. Everybody dance now.
This storm never truly ends.
Ooh, okay, voice line.
Seized.
Okay, voice line. I was literally trying to find a way to not stream today. But I was like, there's absolutely none. You have no reason.
You've captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
Born again.
Let's find out where they are. Where are they?
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
Control lost.
The beacon is no longer broadcast.
No, oh shit, bitch. No, I'm in enemy territory with nothing. Actually, wait. I thought there was more people in there and they all fucking ran out. Bitches.
Storm clouds gather.
Oh, yes, they do.
Their team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
Come through.
I want your soul. Pure chaos!
Oh, they do not look happy.
Oh shit. Damn.
I'll patch you up. Don't mind me.
Why bother?
See, like, how did they move that up that fast?
Almost got it!
I don't actually know if this game has crossplay, because I'm like, maybe it's these little computer bitches. Oh gosh. Did we get the point? I feel like there's so many people on the point.
This is real firepower.
We'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Bitch, you saw, first off, you saw me hitting her and that bitch was taking like no damage, okay, first off. But that happened to me in one of the games I was playing with my friend. The Hulk was literally not, he was at 2 bars. Everybody was hitting him and he was not dying. He wasn't turning into Bruce Banner. That just scared me. I thought my camera froze and I was like, no.
I am a mutant and proud to be one.
Yes, mutants. We are proud to be mutants up in this bitch. Okay. Okay. Alright, alright, alright,
30
okay.
seconds before you attack.
Are you ready? You specifically, are you ready? Who, me? Oh yeah, I totally am. Are you ready? Are you ready? Oh, I don't even know if I have my thing off. I think I have my voice shut off, so. Like, imagine they're listening to me.
The battle starts in 5, 4,
3, 2.
1.
I feel like when they launch this, they should at least have. They should at least definitely have a few more maps, but they should definitely have one more hero, maybe 2, just to keep it like fresh and to keep everybody excited. But I don't think they should drop a shitload of heroes. Look at how far away she is from me and how much damage I'm taking.
The mission area is yours to capture now.
My magic is
Look at
Rise, my
Like, look at how the crosshair is nowhere on me. Y'all just saw it.
Mistakes again.
I don't know if that's like a game thing or if that's just somebody fucking cheating. Cause, bitch.
We captured the mission area.
I lift up my comrades.
Come over here.
Like a lad whose darkest spot concerned.
Control seized.
Get him. Get aggressive, bitch. We're going downtown.
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
Oh no. Oh no, I just fucking... I wasted that shit. Okay, there's no... I shouldn't be doing any fucking damage to me. No. Oh, I got my health back? Okay.
You captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
This is real!
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
Rise, my friend!
No, get her! Get her! She's almost dead!
I'll patch you up.
Oh, it was that bitch that took me out. I thought it was Storm.
Control lost.
Storm is rising again.
I feel like I got my ultimate really fast last time, unless... Oh, that was something else I noticed. Yes, very importante. The... Who is that? Hi, Michael. What a comment to come into.
Progress has
I don't even know what I was saying. Oh, Ryan, please heal me. I don't even know what I said. How are you doing today? Welcome on in. Actually, let me test this with you while I have a chance. Let's see.
Your powers are mine!
What's up, Doc?
I don't know if you heard that, but okay. No, don't go. Oh, I just came in and you were making a funny mouth noise. Oh, oh no, I lost. Okay, I can't hear it. I don't know why. So I just need to figure that out. Okay, but that's good to know that at least you guys can hear it. That's all that matters. How are you doing today? How was your day? What are you up to? Are you volcanoing? Okay. Why is somebody's username COVID? Like makes sense, dude. That is fucking crazy.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
Who do I want to be? Let's do some Punisher again.
Not a hero.
I'm good. Yes, I'm volcanoing. You know me so well. So I'm trying to learn the terminology because I don't even actually know what that means. Cause they're sickening. I don't know what that's in reference to. I literally feel like I cannot remember what is happening 2 minutes before, like 2 minutes ago right now. My brain is like, what are you doing? Why are you even streaming right now?
I'm a blunt instrument. That's
Also, just streaming right now is stressing me out
30
because
seconds before you attack.
I have
Get ready.
I have 3 VODs that I need to get through to find clips. The volcano is me vaping on my flowers. Okay. I kind of figured that, but you know, I just wanted to be sure so that when I speak the lingo with the younger kids,
3, 2,
I don't sound stupid. COVID for the username. I'm watching on TV, so I'm a slight delay.
priority.
No worries.
Someone should have stopped Doom a long time.
Like, I get it, the whole COVID thing, but it's like also like,
Stay away from Earth.
Double kill.
okay, let's just do this.
Heavy weapons.
Because they're like not even paying attention to me right now.
Who's got better guns now?
Okay, can we get the point? They're literally not even paying attention to me. I wasn't even trying to be stealth, okay? Let's break everything else. Break the whole damn building. That lasts for so long. They definitely need to.
Help get that vehicle to its destination.
Oh, was that some laggy lag?
Scourge grenade. Spider-Man gone?
Bye.
Bullets break your magic.
Oh, not the bullets breaking the magic.
Double kill.
Okay, I'm definitely playing against some newbies, which is okay because I need the confidence right now.
That's 3.
Oh my god.
Thanks to the web of life and destiny.
Oh,
Probably seen versions of me in every alternate dimension, huh?
I feel like I have no aim right now.
Where do I rank on the list?
You're halfway there. Keep going.
Damn. Damn. You make me
That's me.
made me cackle.
Help, friends.
Isn't it funny when you like,
Turn back now.
literally sometimes I be having a blast laughing alone.
Battlefield's ready again.
No.
Mess with the amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, that was really amazing, Spider-Man.
Firepower.
Judge, jury, executioner!
You got them all.
Yeah, I got them all.
The vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep
Is there
up the
more?
momentum.
Shit, I did not mean to use that. I meant to use. What were you trying to do? What were you trying to do? Oh yeah, amplifier. Amplify me. Ooh,
It's Spidey time.
bye. Spidey time was short, but it was there. It was okay.
Jury, executioner!
What was that supposed to do? What y'all trying to do over there?
I need assistance. Watch out, Punisher's in his I am ready to put on a show. Anything standing your way.
Damn.
By the
Come on.
eye of Agamotto!
You get a weapon, you get a weapon, you get a weapon!
Y'all getting slammed right now.
Once I
Y'all
get you stopped,
getting slammed.
oh,
Ooh. Okay.
This is your big chance.
Scourge grenade!
Someone scratch my back.
Oh my god, he was so close to being dead.
watch out there, hold
Down and out.
fire!
I'm
Oh my god. Bye. Are we done? Are we done? I'm done. I better get MVP for this shit. Oh. She got snuffed.
Another epic victory.
I better get MVP for that shit. It's always some other hoe. And so now that I can upvote people, let's do it. Also, I have no idea why. Oh. I don't know why my emotes are taking so long to
You'll need a top-notch
be
team
approved.
to win this one.
Let's do some hello.
No one escapes hell.
I feel like I have so many options of people to choose because I actually like all of them. I should play people that I suck with so that I can just rage. I'm so hungry right now. Ugh. I'm trying everything possible not to make a late night snack.
Why should Asgard not be mine? That is the real question.
Oh,
30 seconds
I
before
love
your
this
time.
animation of the Loki flying around me or flying around whoever that is. I love that.
Oh, I did. Several times. Lovely torture machines.
Ooh. Team up deactivated. Ugh. I love how Loki talked all that shit and then they changed. Sun.
The battle starts in
Shine.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Help get that vehicle to its destination.
Healing.
There's somebody back here. Oh. Damn. Is he dead? Is he dead? Is that little spider dead? Oh, spider bitch. I'm gonna go over here and do some damage. You stay back here, Walla.
Here's this life.
No.
Keep going.
Not spewing that shit on me. I love that this is the payload. I like that they have different payloads too.
Almost there. Don't turn back now.
Here's this life.
Boom. Is somebody coming in from this side? No. Oh.
The vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
Why would I need healing?
Yeah, why do I need that? Kill that bitch. She was so close to being dead. Who's touching me?
Here's this life.
Fly! Fly! I'm like a bird.
Here's this life.
We are undefeatable.
Okay. Also, I think that for that bird thing,
Living.
it needs to not only be.
I want a soul.
No. That whole time I thought I was fighting Adam Warlock. I'm like, why is this bitch shaking me out like that? Damn, he just punched me in my
I shall
face.
claim my victory. Eventually.
Eventually, we need to do it now. We'll be stuck in here. Let me come this way.
Their end is nigh.
Let's go this way.
There. Keep going.
Get him.
We are undefeated.
I don't like the way this.
When I rise, they come. Healing. Why would I need healing?
Double kill.
Oh, I got a double honey babushka. Come on, Doctor Strange. Oh yeah. Ooh. Give me paying attention to my healing. Bitch. Ugh.
Chaos control. Almost there. Don't turn back now.
I would thwart Loki.
Thank you. Get him, Wanda. Get him.
Here's this life.
Vehicle reached a checkpoint.
Oh yeah.
Momentum.
Oh. He's doing okay. I need to change his food. Which I'm like in the process of looking for. I need to find a food that is more high fiber. Yeah. But otherwise, he's been okay. Oh. He's back there. I don't know if you can see him. He's laying right there.
Who is more immortal than
He just knocked out on his side.
I want a soul. Crawl back to the fullest power.
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
Oh, you thought you were gonna have me, bitch. I ran. And I got you. And I took you out.
Find that soul.
Oh,
Double kill.
I'm just knocking him out. Yeah, I just need to get him a different food because
We are undefeatable.
not another hella killing me. Yeah, when the lighting is right. So cute. Yeah, my lighting is, I don't know, I need to fix it. Because it'll look different when I'm not streaming and then I'll be like, okay, it looks fine. And then I start streaming and it looks crazy. We use Honest Kitchen brand for my dog and give him fruits and veggies to help with fiber. Yeah, I need to do that. Like at this point, my dog is going to be eating better than me. Oh shit. Usually I was giving him this food that I was mashing up and then putting like peas and carrots in it, but I stopped doing that, so I need to get back into that.
The horrors I'll make for them in hell.
I mean, at this point, he's gonna be eating more vegetables and fruits than me.
Find that soul.
Oh my god, I keep hitting that so late.
Double kill. That's 3.
Where is my ultimate? Okay, I was like,
Truly gone. Fight.
what's ultimate? There's like somebody back here.
Here's this life.
Get that vehicle moving again.
An opportunity for combat. Their end is nigh.
Oh, come on, she was so close to being dead.
Double kill.
No
I hope that doesn't go out.
Gone. Fight.
I need to use my ultimate because I'm like wasting it right now. Oh, that's not where I wanted to go.
The tree withers as we dawdle.
What the fuck? I hit my ultimate and it didn't do anything.
Get that vehicle moving again. Now I
There's no way she hit me that hard.
Immortality has its
Oh, that was stupid. I thought I could move.
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
Okay, who is that? Bitch, now they have 2 storms? How is that even possible? Or am I just like crazy right now?
Double KO.
I'm getting my ass whooped right now.
Quantum magic.
The fullest powers of hell. Behold, that child! Always bidding. Our progress is too slow. We must
I'm not hitting that teleportation button fast enough.
Double KO.
Double KO.
is more and
Only
more
60 seconds left.
find that soul.
Healing power.
An opportunity for combat.
Get that vehicle moving again.
I want a soul. We will arrest Loki's captain. I'm very hard.
Hey! Down to 30 seconds.
Oh, I don't even know where I am.
Not on our side.
But I do know I need healing right badly.
Your souls unite.
I think there's a healing thing up here.
Seems like
We are undefeatable.
I want a soul. A great taste of hell.
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
Let's keep fighting until we have a winner.
No.
Find that soul.
Enemies on approach.
Chin up.
We're about to lose.
Just need to be helpful.
Okay, Mantis. I need to try Mantis. That's what we're gonna do for the next round, because I've only done them once.
The horrors I'll make for them in hell.
Come on. Oh my god. Keep that open. Keep it open. Keep it open.
Pierce this life.
Well, you can't expect to win them all.
Okay, drama. Okay, let's do Mantis, because I need to see what that's like. I want to say, I feel like I'm not even hungry. I want cheese sticks so badly. I bought a pack of them yesterday,
The right heroes
and I
can
ate the whole
all the
pack.
difference.
Don't judge me. Let's do some
Life
Mantis.
energy is a powerful weapon against evil.
I don't even have my skin. I need to figure out. I need to get my skins over to this if I can. Jack in the Box cheese sticks. We don't have any Jack in the Boxes here. Well, these, and also these are just like regular cheese sticks, like the pull-apart cheese kind of sticks, not mozzarella sticks. But I could always go for mozzarella sticks. I feel like places around here do not make them good. That's why I don't buy it.
Life energy
To make
is
a
my
home, I
internal
eat the whole
guide
thing.
and the source
Like-
of my powers.
I literally,
Becoming
I just love cheese.
Stay strong.
I could eat, if I were to buy a half a pound of cheese to make grilled cheeses or sandwiches, I would probably eat it in the whole day. I love cheese. I have to have cheese on everything. I love mozzarella sticks too, but there's not a lot of places that make them good around here. The one place that I know that makes them really good, which is
3,
extremely surprising. I don't even know her powers. Is White Castle, because they have a good saltiness to it. The rest of them have like no flavor and like barely any cheese.
who will help?
You're welcome.
Control.
Take me out.
Loki.
I don't know what any of my buttons are doing, but okay. God, now I want White Castle.
Help is here.
Chaos always prevails.
Oh, did I just let somebody get killed right just now?
Help is here. It pleases me to be helpful.
Yeah, somebody else do some healing? Or where's all the healers?
Don't mind me. I'm just dying.
Are you? I finally tried Shake Shack last month. Shake Shack's okay. I mean, their burgers are pretty good.
You don't have to
Chicken sandwiches are really good.
Hey, T! Enjoy these bonfires!
Oh,
This is natural anger.
I have no idea what I'm doing right now. You know what I tried recently that everybody's like, oh, it's so good.
The great team.
And it was
To damage.
actually not Raising Cane's. It's just another,
Way to go. That vehicle isn't going anywhere.
it's like another version of Popeyes to me.
Welcome.
Feel better. Fight better.
My magic is
Fingers
growing.
don't grow on trees, you know.
Oh, I'm actually okay with her. I don't even know what my ultimate does.
Chin up. It pleases me.
Did I heal them or did they just die? We don't have that here.
So it begins.
Yeah, they just opened this last year.
Down.
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
I can't see. Oh, did they kill somebody?
I will crush them all.
No, she does like no damage. Ooh. Oh, I was just healing him.
Your powers are mine!
Only 60 seconds left. They've made it happen.
Judge! Jury!
Take your life.
And I'm the executioner.
It pleases me to be helpful.
Hey, T! Enjoy these.
Born again!
Oh no.
We are undefeatable. Protective shield. Life always wins.
Oh yeah.
Down to 30 seconds. On the back.
Oh yeah.
Pleases me to be helpful.
Oh. Oh, I thought she killed me. There's somebody behind us, people.
The final 10 seconds. You need some help, didn't you? You look tired.
To the grown-up.
Bye.
You'll have to keep fighting
Oh.
until we have a winner.
Did we just wipe the shit out of them?
Focus on the battle.
Bye. Oh shit. We don't have that here in CA, yeah. It's just like a Popeyes. I thought it was gonna be really good, but I was like, oh, whatever. In and out, yes, I tried that when I was in Vegas. That was pretty good. I think I had it twice. Well, actually, I probably had it a few times. But In-N-Out is pretty good. And also, luckily the lines were not that bad because it was like, it was off the strip and it was in an alley that had like a lot of things, but most people weren't going in there. But that was like the only thing you can do, really. So there wasn't long lines. I'm surprised it's not an In-N-Out in New York, to be honest. There's like some two like really good burger places that I recently tried in New York. One is called like Key Pouch Burger or something like that. And the other one is Lovely Old Fashioned Burgers. So good because they know how to cook the burger. If they don't know how to cook the burger, I don't want you. Oh, I should have did Mantis again. Can I be Mantis? Oh, there's already 2 healers. Let's do Starlord then.
Someone's gotta guard the galaxy.
Yeah, I need my burgers well done. Do you have a Five Guys in California? Five Guys burgers and their French fries? Amazing. They have Cajun French fries. If I ever get a chance to get seasoned French fries, I'm gonna get seasoned French fries.
I may be from Earth, but every planet's under my protection now.
Fools, do you truly?
Okay, I gotta remember after this ad. After this, I'm gonna run ads because the ad's about to start in 8 minutes. I think we can wipe them in 8 minutes.
Not even sure anymore.
You cannot save
I
me,
have
Brazil,
been lost
nor
between
can you
the
save
others,
yourselves.
Well, you're not lost anymore. You'll always have a place with us. In any
It's so good.
Then we should probably make sure of
Cause they also like literally they put everything on it, so I get
3, 2, 1.
like I'm a person that likes a lot of sauces at the same time. I'm just like weird like that.
Get that vehicle to its destination.
So they put lettuce, tomato, get onions, mayo, ketchup, mustard, pickles. I put everything on it except for mushrooms. Oh, and I still died. Oh, and I still got revived. Die, bitch. No, kill her. Oh my god, how did she heal so fast?
That's what you get for reading my mind, Mantis.
You're halfway there.
Why is she stuck like that? Thank you. Thank you for healing me. Five Guys does sound fun. Old me would love that. Listen, I would love anything at this point. This is like the Sahara Desert going on over here. Sounds good. Like I like to have a lot of stuff on my burger or fries if possible. What's happening right now? Oh. Bitch. Thought he was gonna have me. Did we get it? Okay. I love loaded fries. I like putting a lot of shit in everything. Regular rice, I will put pickles, corn, peas, any vegetable I have, I will literally put in. Somebody's coming from behind us. I saw somebody. I saw some hoe.
Pulse charge, fire!
jury, executioner! By the eye of Agamotto!
Where am I flying to? Oh. Damn it, damn it. Oh.
I need assistance.
Snooze you. When I eat a loaded burrito, eat over an open tortilla to have another burrito. Smart. I never thought of that. That's actually a really smart idea. Oh shit. I would eat a loaded burger over fries, then blow up. I do that too. Sometimes I'll let the burrito droppings go onto fries, and then they're loaded fries.
Star-Lord.
You are not. Don't mind me. I'm just dying.
Get that vehicle moving again.
Pulse charge. Fire. Enjoy the air.
I need some healing.
Turret. Oh, come on.
Oh, here's healing.
We are undefeatable.
How did he kill me with 2 shots? What was he even shooting me with just now? Wait.
Faster.
No stopping the Star-Lord.
He has 2 guns? How did I not know that? Okay, we're playing him next. I feel like every time I play this, I learn something new. Oh.
Let me help. Watch your back. I am wounded. Who will help?
Damn.
Better kick it up.
You're supposed to be part of the Guardians of the Galaxy, honey boo boo. There, I got you this time, bitch.
Judge, jury, executioner!
Not getting caught up in that bullshittery. Damn it!
Born again!
Holy shit. Now we're getting demolished.
Dark magic.
Double
No
KO.
stopping the Star-Lord.
Healing power.
Okay, we got it back, but are we moving it?
Strider together.
What is hitting
Enemy
me?
in front of us.
We are undefeatable.
What is hitting me?
Shanti's power.
Shit. Oh my god.
Double KO. Only
Can't keep
60
me down
seconds
for long.
left.
God, now I want fast food. Don't do it.
I'm opening a portal.
See how his crosshair is not even on me?
I'm back, baby.
I wonder if that's the same cheating ass one.
Down to 30 seconds.
God damn it.
Got us outnumbered.
Yggdrasil will not survive.
We are
They're just killing me so fast. Look at that little bitch over here.
the final 10
I'm literally pointing at it on the screen, but there was a fucking Punisher just camping out.
Keep fighting until we have a winner.
Judge, jury,
Oh.
executioner!
Well, you can't expect to win them all.
The bullshittery. Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta run some ads. Be right back.
Before we get started,
Bitch. Y'all see all those headshots? He should have been dead. The boo-boo should have been dead. Oh my god. Yes, because it plays this like Xena yell anytime somebody comes in so that I actually remember to look at chat. And this game is like terrifying me. I've like had enough of it at this point. I'm like just trying to get to the end of this chapter so I can, be gone. I'm gonna be really fucking annoyed. Can I pull this? No. The other type of collectible are hats. Those are pretty cool because you can wear them, plus you need some for specific achievements. Oh. Okay. Oh, no. No. Okay, run out of the fucking thing. Let's get this, and then we're gonna run out. Okay, and I won't be like those other streamers that chew a little and spit it out and then spend 5 minutes using mouthwash. I'm gonna swallow. Okay? Oh, it's the teacher. Fuck. She's whipping at their ass. Oh. Oh shit, she gonna stick her head up here. Oh my god, no. Oh no, bitch. Oh shit. Run.
The enemy is
No. Oh. How did we even win? The people outside must have won for us because I was fighting for my life. Okay, there's a key right there. Oh, and then I gotta make it back though. Oh, no. Oh my god, hide in there. Oh. No, 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 no. Oh no, honey boo boo. Oh no, they're gonna slam that door all the way. Don't do it all the way. Okay, right back.
What's up, Doc?
Right, what's up, Doc? I gotta fix that. Okay. Oh, I just realized that I had ice cream in my freezer, so I'm gonna eat that as soon as we're done. I got this like ice cream that was like a pan pizza poppy over here. That's a good name. This ice cream from Van Leeuwen is supposed to be like a really famous, like, oh my god. I know it like played it as soon as I went back to the screen. I don't know if it's supposed to do that. I gotta figure that out a little bit more. So I got this cheesecake Van Leeuwen. That's supposed to be like, oh, it's like the next big ice cream, right? Caramel chocolate cheesecake. Now, mind you, I'm on a very hard
Pick your hero.
cheesecake
I'm not judging.
thing right now. Because I feel like cheesecake is very hard to find. Who do I want to be? I want to be Punisher because I want to see the gun. This ice cream don't taste nothing like cheesecake.
I'm the Punisher.
Because they took basically the cheesecake part of it is graham crust. I don't care about the crust part. I just want the cheesecake part. So the caramel was really good while it lasted, but it don't taste like cheesecake. So now I'm back on a hunt. I know that Haagen-Dazs came out. Cheesecake is so good, it's so underrated. The texture is godly. So now I'm back on a hunt for the Haagen-Dazs cheesecake. I think that they just came out with a strawberry cheesecake. I think Ben & Jerry's makes a cheesecake ice cream. I need to check into that. I feel like the bodegas by my house don't really have a lot of options when it comes to Ben & Jerry's. And also they're expensive as fuck.
All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Oh, I did not mean to do that.
I've seen a lot of stuff I never signed up for in special forces.
Let me go back to the other one. Yeah, had some. I found Junior's cheesecake in this supermarket that just opened up 2 blocks from my house. Who is that? Oh. Oh, somebody already got banned. That's pretty special. Ooh.
Bad choices have bad consequences.
Oh, I love this gun too. Oh, yeah. I always get a pint when it's on sale. Ben & Jerry's is good, but prices are crazy. I think they charge, I think they're maybe $7.99 now for those little pints. I don't really eat ice cream like that because sometimes it makes, I feel like sometimes my body wants to decide when it's lactose intolerant even though I eat all this cheese. Usually it's good, but if I have like milk or ice cream, sometimes it'll get upset. And I'm just like,
Hostiles up front. Battlefield ready again. Need some raised firepower. Beacons on the bridge. Looks like bullets break your magic.
bye. Oh. I really did that just now.
Keep going.
Empty calories, exactly. I feel like my body. Ooh. Ooh. She got shots in the eye.
I suck.
Oh, it does do damage. That's good to know.
This is real firepower.
Who's at top? What is at top? What is this?
Hey, Didi, enjoy the amplifier.
Oof. Now that I know I have this little shotgun here. Girl. What is that? Oh, they have an Iron Man now? Ooh, I was about to take that bitch out.
Only cowards see shades of gray. Only cowards see shades of gray.
A little puppy.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready. 30 seconds before you attack. Get ready. Tony Stark. Tony Stark. I'm totally fangirling.
Oh, same here.
We can swap autographs after the fight.
Swap? You should just be asking for mine. When's the
Ooh.
last time you sold out Stark Arena, Gramps?
All right, K-pop, let's go save the world.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2.
I have this like this ring light over here. I need to figure out what to do with it.
is capture the mission area.
I just feel like
Got
it's
it?
so bright in the wrong direction everywhere.
What matters to
I feel like he needs a sprint. Like he's still running very slow for me.
Hey, the human host is down.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now. I am ready to put on a show. We captured the mission area.
Oh shit. Oh. Who is even taking me out like that? Oh, I have my ultimate. I need to use it. Oh, that was the thing I was saying. Another difference about this game and Overwatch is that you keep your ultimate through the rounds. I like that. Do we have the point? Why does it feel like we should be having the point right now? Burn in hell.
That's 3.
That's a job well done.
Damn.
Wow, 4 in a row.
Another bump in the road.
Damn, now what do I hit next? Taking request.
A nice deep freeze.
Do they know they even need to come to the points?
You're not going anywhere. Hex.
Oh, the perfect hex.
No, it cannot be.
Smoke up.
A nice deep freeze. There they are. You captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going. We are undefeatable!
They're anywhere near this point now.
Pulse
A
charge!
nice deep freeze. It's the grand finale.
Smoke up.
Yeah. Ooh.
I'm taking requests.
Glory is almost yours.
Get him. Oh yeah. Give me all that coverage back. Ooh.
Maximum pulse!
Center stage.
Did we lose the play now? I'm good to go.
Good to go.
Ah, they got wiped.
Another epic victory. Big win.
Where's my air horn? Finally got that MVP sign. Let's get some Darien. Okay. Joey Jojo Jr. Joey Jojo Jr. Oh. Wait, did I give him a thing? Yes. Who do I want to be now? Oh. Let's do... Know who I haven't done yet? At least on the past 2 streams. I need to do Hulk.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
Solves problems.
Science solves problems.
I'm not really a fan of the belt. Like, it looks cool, but I don't like the... I don't know if the belt is what's giving him his powers. I don't like that. You gotta say true. Look at that Bifrost bridge back there. Don't.
Hulk and I, we're a team.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Oh. I think it's literally, I have a little bit of an addiction. Oh, do I already have my ultimate? Oh, that's because I need to Hulk out. That looks so, I just love the way that looks. I think it's been at least over a week since I've ordered from Uber Eats. My addiction is going.
Help get that vehicle to its destination. We won't stop until...
Oh no. Oh shit. Oh, there's another one. Okay. Oh, did we get her? Oh shit, no. It's so easy to kill him when he's in this little form.
You're halfway there. Keep
Let's try
going.
this again.
Okay, let's Hulk it out. How do I even do?
I like the cold.
I feel like no.
Maximum!
There. You'll turn back now.
Your powers are mine!
I am ready to put on a show. Fixing shoes.
Oh my god. Ooh, got one. Oh, did he just smash me?
Vehicle reached a checkpoint.
Bitch.
Keep up the momentum.
Wait, shields?
I got a little spider bitch. Bitch. Oh no, oh no.
An opportunity for combat. We won't stop until the tapping is stopped.
Oh, I'm doing actually pretty good as well. Okay.
Keep going.
Thank you for the healing. Bye. Stay over there.
I like the cold. Don't turn back now.
Oh no, I'm gonna die. Shit. Ouch. Okay, I didn't stand a chance. There was 4 of them around me.
Vehicle reached a checkpoint.
Torta Destroyer. Torta. What a fucking name.
If at first you don't succeed, don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man! What a feeling!
Oh. Me killing Spider-Man as Bruce Banner. Let me do a little Bruce Banner action up in here. Okay. Alright, alright. I like his character design though.
I am ready to put on a show.
Maximum pulse!
By the eye of Agamotto!
I know. No. Oh my god, my puppy's whipping in the back. Yeah, a little nightmare. Yeah, were you expecting the Hulk?
Move it! Yggdrasil can't survive tapping much longer.
No, I suck. Get that vehicle moving again.
Oh, they do not look happy.
Okay, got it.
Turn around the 3 withers as we go.
In your face!
Onward to Yggdrasil!
I am ready to put on a show.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Gosh darn it. What is the rest of my chain? Oh, what is that? Do I have a little bomb too?
Get that vehicle
Let me see what that is.
I can be reckless
My
now.
own shield.
Let's try this again.
It's a grand finale.
An opportunity for combat.
Troops are trying.
A feast for my crows.
Bitch. Where did he go? Did he just come in here?
A nice deep freeze.
Oh, yeah.
I care nothing for the truth.
It's almost a little bit actually more fun to play as Bruce Banner than it is to play as Hulk, to be honest.
Maximum pulse!
By the eye of Agamotto!
A nice deep freeze.
Oh shit, girl.
I hurt. Get that vehicle moving again.
Succeed.
We got this,
If
we
at
got this.
first
Come
you
on, we're
don't
so close.
succeed,
Bye. Oh, Naruto grudges.
move it! Yggdrasil can't survive tapping much longer.
Only 60 seconds left. I am ready to put on a show.
Ooh, did I just die? Shit.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Holy shit.
By the
Oh damn, we only got 3 seconds.
Agamotto. Max,
Well, you can't expect to win them all.
Dorothy Destroyer was MVP. Okay, he wasn't that bad to play. But it's also, I feel like he doesn't do that much damage with his punches, so... Girl. The seasons change.
The right heroes could make all the difference.
Actually, you know what? Let's do no more. We haven't really done no more either. Look at that body. Look at that body. Ooh. Beautiful. Is this a defend? Yes. Okay, so we have this.
They'll be coming in 30 seconds. Stay strong.
Okay, that's a shield. Oh, and I can jump up, and then
Our troubled past does not
these
lie
are my
under
little
reconsideration.
minions.
It is the future that hasn't awoken.
Then let me fight for it by
I don't think they can see out here.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You need to stop that vehicle in its tracks.
Oh, snap.
Denizens of the deep.
Damn.
Better stop that vehicle.
I can't see shit right now. What is healing him? Oh my lord. Shit, I hit that button, son. Okay, let's do this. Oh my god, they moved so far since I got back. I mean, since I left. Hello? Why are you not fighting in front?
Feel my power.
They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them.
I summon the seas.
Oh shit. I thought I had, oh, maybe it just shields me and doesn't actually regenerate me. Oh, I have my ultimate. Let's go.
I will not be stopped so easily.
Wipe them.
Better stop that vehicle! They've made it halfway! Stop them! They've made it halfway! Stop them!
I have found more lost souls.
Beware.
You are in my debt now.
I am ready to put on a show! We are undefeatable!
Oh yeah, that was a pretty good ult.
He's strong.
Oh no, it does give me my...
There's still a chance to stop them!
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Oh, I didn't even know. I didn't know what's happening. Oh, he was up behind us, little bitch. Oh, I was with all of them in the corner. That's why I was getting their ass whooped.
They hit a checkpoint! Now might be a good time to stop them.
Protect your key! Wash our foes away!
Better stop that vehicle!
Attack them!
How did I die from one hit? What the fuck? Like that took like over half of my health that gunshot. Are you kidding me?
You cannot
That's the
wash your hands of
bullshittery.
Namor.
It's now or never! Stop them! Better stop that vehicle!
Down! That Flarkin hurt! This is a nice spot. Okay, hold your horse. Denizens of the deep. Deploy another beacon.
Don't give them another inch!
Oh damn! I almost got my ultimate. I mean, we're not gonna be able to hold them off for 5 minutes. They're like in there.
Well, you can't expect to win them all.
This is a little better. Let me see this. Okay, that's a little better. Miss Jonesing, Toxic Lottery. Okay. Who do I want to be now? Let's do some Luna Snow. I think I'm gonna do one more game and then I'm gonna end it because I'm getting tired. And I should get some sleep.
The right heroes could make all the difference.
Come through, Luna Snow.
Like the moon. I'm Luna Snow. Like the
Oh
moon.
yeah.
I shine in darkness.
My name is Earl. Untold Maniac. Okay, I'm glad you're on my team. Oh, Rocket. I feel like yesterday I spent the whole 4 hours and I played each character at least once. And that's kind of crazy. Because I could, to be honest, I feel like I like all the characters. Some of them are better than others, but I think some of them I just need to work. It's, oh, it's a defend.
Hey, I like your firearms. Never thought I'd find someone with the same taste.
Like, I would play everybody. I just need to learn how to play some of them better.
Let's see.
Okay, let's do this.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have to stop them from securing the mission area.
Dr. Doom tore everything apart. I want to be a part of putting it back together.
Like a lamb to the slaughter.
Shake it up! Enemies better beware.
You're welcome.
Oh, I need assistance. That might hurt.
Battlefield ready again.
My back.
Be your best self.
Oh shit. Oh. Look at how far away he was from me, and I feel like when I hit people like that, I don't get nothing.
I'm making a comeback.
Oh no, I'm coming. Don't die. Don't die, I'm coming. Oh shit.
Cosmos heals you.
You are safe now, my
Damn.
friend. This was all.
We got this, we got this.
You need to stop that vehicle in its tracks.
Oh, I need assistance. I'm hurt. Oh no, look behind enemies better beware.
The skull guy made himself into a
I suck.
Fuck.
I'm doing this my way.
He's hitting me. Shit. What the fuck? Oh my god, they're just coming at me from all angles.
I've still got songs to sing.
Oh yeah? So let's sing a song. Shit, I'm coming. Oh fuck.
I am ready to put on a show.
Maximum
Ready to put on a show. I am ready to put on a show.
Double KO.
I'm not gonna lie, that was fucking good.
Stop them. Better stop that vehicle.
Battlefield ready again.
I'll patch you up.
I'm opening a portal.
A nice deep freeze. Ready to do some
by
damage.
the eye of Agamotto. Judge, jury, executioner.
So long, turret.
Shit.
Chin up.
They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them.
Holy shit, I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I'm so tired. Where am I? Come through, come
I've
through.
still got
Better
songs
stop
to
that
sing.
vehicle.
I just love this animation so much. I would play her just to do this.
You needed some help, didn't you?
So long, turret.
I'll patch you
Castle
up.
wing down.
It's now or never. Stop them.
I like the Punisher has enabled his turret.
Fuck. Ah. Oh shit. No.
Maximum pulse. You're welcome. Pulse charge.
Nah, bitch.
What do I do for an encore? Enemies better be rare.
Our enemies born again. You better get a look behind.
I am ready to put on a show. Now I am ready. We're finding our groove.
You stop them in their tracks.
Come on.
I am ready to put on a show. A nice deep freeze.
I unleash the Vishanti's
Magneto!
Shit. Ah.
The Punisher's turret is outside me.
Damn, he was waiting to do that shit for me. He was waiting. And we gotta hold them up for 3 more minutes. Ooh, and they're like right there. I'm running.
Well, you can't expect to win them all.
Okay. Tickle Banana. Look at that artwork. That looks amazing. Tickle Banana was the MVP. Oops. Shit. I didn't mean to go back. I forgot to give them all their props and shit. Okay. Let me go get all my little achievements right now. Oops. Who else did I get? Luna. Can't do Luna. Okay. There was one more. Okay, achievement. Let's look at the store. I don't know if I get to keep any of this stuff. Next. Let's purchase that. I want a black version. Yes. Let's equip her. Okay. Banana split sounds good. Do you know, I don't think I've ever had a banana split. Let's see what his other skin is. Gold. I don't want a gold version. I like the red version. Oh, I wanted the... Oh, that's all my skin. That's all my money. I need that. I don't want to waste my money on some of the stuff because I feel like I might already have it in the PC version and it might come over to this one. Okay. Anyway, it is that time. I'm gonna call it because I'm getting very sleepy right now. My eyes are burning a little bit. Thank you so much for hanging out, Michael. I appreciate it. Thank you to anybody else that's been lurking, that will watch the VOD later. I appreciate it. I am going to try to do another stream tomorrow around 6:37. If I'm not too tired. And then hopefully I'm gonna go see Deadpool and Wolverine. Because nobody's gonna spoil that shit for me. Yes, had fun. Thanks for the stream. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. It means a lot. And I'm gonna say it to you before you say it to me. Wet dreams. Anyway, have a good rest of your day. Have a good Thursday. 2 more days to the weekend, and then we get to chill. Have a good night. Stay safe, and I will see you guys soon. Bye. I don't know which thing I'm hitting. Bye. There we go.